Kitty Pryde and the Thing are now in the Guardians of the Galaxy and Star-Lord is missing. Let's find out what happened. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I bring you trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I bring it dramatically back to you. All alterations of the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This takes place within the all-new, all-different Marvel and After Black Vortex, the Negative Zone, a place where the kings and queens of the galaxy secretly meet. But now, there is only Annihilus and the Queen of the Brood. Queen of the Brood wonders where the others are, but Annihilus explains. King Jason was removed from his throne. The supreme intelligence of the Kree was destroyed along with his planet. Gladiator of the Shi'ar has been ignoring their invitations, and he will never trust the Chitauri. But back in the Milky Way galaxy, Ben Grimm is flying through space holding onto a tiny jetpack that would fit the size of a certain raccoon. But you know what? Grimm decides that this feels right. Ben thinks to himself how much he needed this. This is what his original goal in life was. To be a spaceman. Except one thing. The giant Chitauri spacecraft that's trying to eat him. But before the Chitauri can blast Ben for stealing something from them, Ben is rescued by the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Kitty Pryde as Star-Lord, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Venom. Rocket complains that Ben took the only good rocket pack, and the Guardians notice the giant Chitauri ship. "We gonna do the thing?" Rocket says to Kitty. "Let's do the thing," she responds. Using the rockets on her feet, Kitty begins to skate through the forces gathering around them and destroying them, then finally going through the giant ship in the middle, causing a massive explosion. Venom asks, if Kitty can phase through things and disrupt their technology, why doesn't she phase out of her clothes? And Rocket responds, "Hey, you're covered in alien goo and I don't ask why." To your face. Drax likes the new warrior, and Rocket likes the new Star-Lord, but Drax wonders how the old one is doing. Back on planet Spartax, Peter Quill is the new king of Spartax, and it is very, very boring. Peter decides to get up and leave, but doesn't really have a good reason to go, so when they ask him why he's leaving, he's forced to sit back down. Back in the Guardian ship, Rocket wanted to open that thing that Ben stole from the Chitauri, but they aren't sure if they should open it because, it might be a bomb. "It's not a bomb! I am Groot." "Exactly! Maybe it's just a cake!" Drax tells them that they should bring it to an expert that they can trust. And Rocket responds with, "We don't know any." And Ben asks, "Experts?" "No, people that we can trust." Kitty suggests taking it to someone, but Rocket isn't getting it. Then he realizes, no! Kitty pushes further and the crew travel to Spartax to meet up with Peter, who is currently being groped by a tall pink alien. The alien is trying to tell Peter that they should procreate. It'll build a new reputation, but Peter isn't really wanting any of that, and that's when the ship flies in right next to them. "Who are those creatures?" the alien asks, and Peter responds with, "That's the Guardians of the Galaxy and my fiance." But as the crew gets out to give Peter what Ben stole, the guards point out that they were followed. "No, we weren't! I have a special hyperdrive that..." Uh-oh. Everyone turns to the sky to see a ball of fire falling and crashing through the buildings to the ground. Everyone runs over to see what happened, but Peter already thinks he knows what or who this is. It's Gamora! She's badly hurt and bleeding, but is able to tell them, "The destroyer of the worlds is here. Hala is here to destroy you." She begins to tell the story of the Kree homeworld. They were the most advanced civilization in the universe. The Kree's power stretched across the galaxy and saved worlds from cosmic threats. The Kree helped the galaxy keep order, and the homeworld of the Kree was destroyed. She is the Accuser, the last of the Kree, destroyed by the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it is time for them to atone. Hala slams her weapon down, causing a massive explosion, knocking everyone down, and Kitty tries to phase through Hala, but it isn't hurting her. Peter can't understand what Hala is trying to say, but that's when Rocket has an idea as to why she's here to kill them. "Remember when we narrowly escaped the destruction of the Kree homeworld?" And Peter tells Rocket, "Oh man." Drax calls out the Accuser, stating that she needs to stop or feel the wrath of the Guardians, but Ben steps in, telling him that he has a different saying back on Earth. "It's clobbering time!" Ben yells as he runs in to punch Hala, while Kitty just looks at him going, "I knew you were gonna say that. I don't like hitting a broad, but..." Kitty responds back, "Don't be sexist, but she's gonna kill us." "No, calling her a broad." "So calling her a broad is sexist, but hitting her isn't?" But while Peter argues with the guards to get medical assistance for Groot and Gamora, because the guards aren't really sure how to treat her tree, Drax picks up Hala's weapon, and it suddenly causes a giant blast, knocking everyone out. Peter's guards begin to shoot the weapon out of Drax's hands, and Hala begins to stand up, reaching for her weapon. And then with one final blast covering the entire area around her, Hala picks up the lifeless Peter and tells him that he is accused, and he is found guilty. Eye for an eye, planet for a planet, but because you are half Spartax and half Earther, your punishment will be both of your homeworlds. Peter starts to wake up and he notices that he's in a pod ship, and then when he turns, he can see Spartax, and it's slowly being destroyed. Over in a marketplace over on Nowhere, there is a place called Fronta's House of Self-Defensory. Inside this shop is Fronta promptly telling somebody that they should get the Flark out of his shop. That's when we see the large man that he's talking to, Yo-Tat, the destroyer of destroyers, and he is looking for Drax, the Destroyer. Yo-Tat is wanting information from Fronta because he sold weapons to Drax and he wants to know where Drax went. Fronta tells him that he doesn't know where he is. He just sells weapons of all kinds to all kinds of species. They just come and go. But before Yo-Tat leans in, one of his lackeys tells him to look at something. Spartax is under attack by Hala, and Peter Quill is out. Fronta tells them that's where your guardians are, now go. Yo-Tat turns back to Fronta telling him that he's been no help, and then literally knocks his head off. Before leaving though, Yo-Tat is stopped by a creature of the Brood and their queen, because they would like a word with Yo-Tat. Back in Spartax orbit, Peter is screaming for help, but this is just a pod ship. There are no communications, and he realizes he's just talking to himself. However, back on Spartax's royal court, Hala is killing all of the royal guards, even jumping through a battleship and easily taking it down. Kitty starts to come to and she notices that she's not being watched, as she starts to phase the rest of the Guardians to an underground passage. Rocket then locates that Peter is in orbit, and the team decides that they need to climb back up to the surface to escape. Rocket begins repairing the wires on the ship while Venom covers him. Once Rocket finishes and everyone gets inside, Ben notices a rather large and humongous problem. They need seatbelts, so Rocket tells them, grow a pair! The Guardians begin to take off when Hala sees them, and she begins to chase them. As Ben is getting ready to slow her down, Gamora stands ready, telling them she is mine, and she jumps from the ship ready to fight Hala again. However, Gamora is still weak from being knocked down to the planet, so she ends up just giving everyone enough time to activate the ship's cloak and escape. Hala knows that they are going to go get Peter, and she realizes that she's too late to stop them. Once they get everyone back in the Guardian ship, Peter wants to go back down to get Gamora, but Rocket argues that they need a plan. While everyone is yelling, Ben asks if they actually did blow up Hala's planet when everyone turns to him to yell, no! However, Peter is hard on himself and he's taking the blame, as it was his father, Jason, that destroyed it, and he wasn't able to stop him. Peter wants to go back to Spartax, but Rocket refuses until they have an actual plan. Then everyone looks at Rocket and Peter tells him, turn the ship around. Back on Spartax, Hala continues to beat down on Gamora, asking where Peter went. But before Gamora can answer anything, Peter tells her, I'm right here. Peter tries to explain that it wasn't them who destroyed her planet. It was his father, Jason. Hala begins to understand that the old King Jason was responsible for the destruction of her planet, and that Peter is just his son. However, she tells him that her goals still remain unchanged. Rocket tells everyone, I told you that was what she was gonna say. No one listens to me. Peter calls out to Kitty and she phases through the ground under Hala, pulling her down and locking her into the ground. Drax punches Hala so hard that he knocks her helmet off, and that's when she notices something. Looking up, she can see Ben flying straight down on her. He lands on top of her, causing a giant explosion, throwing everyone back, and then he just sits there over the knocked out Hala. Everyone gathers around Drax as he holds Gamora to find out if she's still alive. Peter is shocked to see that Gamora actually fought for him. He thought she hated him. She still does, but not that much. Venom tells Ben that he can relax as he's holding Hala, ready to punch her again. Pretty sure we won. But to be safe, Venom breaks Hala's glaive. Peter begins to thank the crew for helping even after what they've all been through, and Kitty understands. Let's fix your planet and then we can, but that's when Kitty is cut off. Fix it? I was hoping to watch it burn. And that's when everyone turns to see Yo-Tat, and he begins telling everyone who he is. I am Yo-Tat, destroyer of destroyers. But before he can finish, Rocket points his rifle. Hey, we're in the middle of something, so you're dead. Blam, blam, blam. Rocket tells everyone that they can go back to the original plan when they all look at him. Please don't tell me. And Yo-Tat is standing there, continuing and finishing his monologue before he begins opening fire on everyone and destroying Groot. With everyone knocked out, Yo-Tat reaches down to grab Drax by the head. Drax, I give you a warrior's death. I want Quill to watch. I want the galaxy to see this. Please don't do this, Peter calls out. King Quill, are you begging? I didn't think the Spartax knew how to beg. My actual world is falling apart because of the Accuser. These people need our help, Peter tells him. Do you have any more begging, or can I pull off your friend's head? No, that's all the time we needed. Then Venom crawls out from behind and he grabs Yo-Tat. Rocket then stands up with his homemade weapon, all charged and recalibrated, going, big boom! Anywhere in particular? Rocket asks Peter. On the face, please. So Venom lets go and Rocket yells, boom, big boom! Blasting Yo-Tat. And sincerely, wholeheartedly, and completely, I hope I just murdered you. Let's make sure this guy's down then. No, Drax says, interrupting Peter. I have this. Help the innocent. Rocket looks down to see pieces of Groot. Aw, Groot, can you hold it together? You missed me blowing the Glenards off that guy. Drax comes in, unleashing a powerful punch right into Yo-Tat's face. Everyone is helping the civilians get to safety as the fight goes on. Drax keeps punching Yo-Tat, grabbing him by the face, and he slams him down, punching him over and over. But as Yo-Tat gets up ready to smash Drax with his gun, Ben interrupts him, knocking him down. Drax then continues beating Yo-Tat until help finally arrives. But Peter turns and asks Kitty who that guy even was. Oh, Yo-Tat? Yeah, we met him while you were busy being king. Funny story actually. Kitty begins to explain that back on Nowhere, the crew stopped off to get supplies and show Ben around when they saw Yo-Tat hurting someone as he was trying to extort money from them. Kitty phased and rescued the person, and Drax kicked him in the back, and Rocket shot a rocket at him. But before Yo-Tat could react, the Nowhere Corps showed up and a talking dog arrested him. And that's when Yo-Tat swore that he would kill them all. Now with the flashback over, Ben yells, "It's clobbering time!" as Ben and Drax give Yo-Tat one final attack. With Ben's arm around Drax, Drax tells Ben that he's not a fan of his war crime, and Ben tells him, "It'll grow on ya." Peter tells the guards to incarcerate this Yo-Tat asshat and double incarcerate the Kree accuser who, "You phased her through solid ground, Kitty," Peter says. "I did, and it didn't kill her." No, Peter looks back at Kitty. She's badass. And more to the point, she's on the loose. Kitty says, "Crap!" However, Hala doesn't get very far as she falls to the ground below and is quickly subdued while Peter is telling the guards to find her. Peter kneels down to get Gamora because she's barely alive, and Peter calls for the medics. Soon Gamora is in the hospital recovering along with a small little Groot plant next to her. But back at Peter's council, he argues not to release Hala back to whatever is left of the Kree Empire, as she is a threat to both Spartax and Earth. But the council has already agreed on releasing her. "I thought I ran things around here," Peter says, but everyone gets quiet. "I think they had a vote without you," Kitty says as the guards begin to grab Peter. "This council is holding you accountable for the attacks on our planet," the council members begin to say. "You jerks set me up! Ironically, I was about to quit this job, but at least I had the courtesy to wait. Honey, it's time to go," Kitty says as she begins phasing Peter and herself through the floors. And that's when another council member tells everyone, let them run. They can go from one side of the galaxy to the other, but Quill and the Guardians are now enemies of the galaxy. With Peter now the head of the Guardians of the Galaxy again, and the Guardians trying to make their escape from Spartax, this is where it ends. But back at the negative zone, Annihilus congratulates the Brood Queen for having the Spartax Council remove their king. Annihilus sits back. "Now is time to make our move, but we must not repeat the mistakes of the past," the Brood Queen hisses. "What did you have in mind?" And with that, the first arc of the all-new, all-different Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy comes to an end. If you want to see where this goes, go pick up issue number 5 to continue the storyline. Otherwise, I'll see you next time when we cover the next arc. I'm Benny the Comicstorian. If you want to follow me on Twitter, go to Comicstorian, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, hit me up at Comicstorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.